Hello everybody. In this episode, I'm gonna talk about ADHD, but not in children, but in adults. Let's start. When we think of ADHD, usually the first thing that comes to mind is a child, an active, running around, loud, a child who can't sit still, who have trouble focusing, who have issues with learning, and so on. And in the case of children, ADHD became commonly recognized and understood over the years, but in the case of the adults, it's a whole different story. When I thought about it, I had a feeling that ADHD disappears, some kind of, after children are about 9 to 10 years old. And in adolescents or adults, it's a non-existent problem. Well, in fact, ADHD is diagnosed in adults, and it's not so rare diagnosis. The WHO says that approximately 4.5% of adults has ADHD diagnosis, and it's a bit more prevalent in men. So 4.5%, it means that approximately 4 to 5 people out of 100 randomly chosen people of the population are diagnosed with ADHD. But let's begin with the very basic thing. What the ADHD is in adults. Adult ADHD, which is an acronym for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, it is a mental health condition that affects many adults, and it is characterized by ongoing issues with attention, hyperactivity, or impulsive behavior. Although it's called adult ADHD, the symptoms often begin in childhood and can persist into adulthood, with some individuals not being diagnosed until later in life. So it doesn't mean that ADHD wasn't present in childhood, but these people were just not, for some reason, they have not been diagnosed. But unlike children, where hyperactivity is more noticeable because, children are more active in general. So hyperactivity is way more noticeable. But in adults, adult people may experience less hyperactivity, but still struggle with impulsiveness, restlessness, and maintaining focus. And these challenges can lead to difficulties in various areas of life, including relationships, work performance, or for instance, self-esteem. Adults with ADHD might find everyday tasks overwhelming, often missing deadlines, or forgetting important meetings, which can strain personal and professional relationships, as others may perceive them as irresponsible or uncaring. So think about it this way. You know that your spouse has a birthday and you forget about it. And it's not because you don't care about them, it's because you have ADHD. And when you are not diagnosed or the other person doesn't know what it means to have ADHD, this other person, meaning the spouse, can think that you don't care about them or you don't think about them and so on. So they can just feel ignored, while this is the symptom of your disease. Additionally, many adults with ADHD face other mental health issues such as anxiety or depression, which can complicate diagnosis and treatment, of course, since their symptoms often overlap. So if you recognize these symptoms in yourself or in someone close to you, and they disrupt their daily life, it's advisable to consult a healthcare professional experienced in diagnosing and treating adult ADHD, because the diagnosis is not very challenging when it's done by someone who's experienced. So it's really difficult to diagnose ADHD in ourselves. So don't trust videos on YouTube which says that you can diagnose ADHD in 4 minutes. You cannot. So if you have a feeling that something is going on, I recommend going to someone who's specialized in mental health care and diagnosing ADHD. Well, treatment typically involves a combination of medication, therapy, and support strategies tailored to individual needs. With the right support and treatment plan, individuals can learn to navigate their symptoms effectively, and it all can improve the quality of life. As people with ADHD age, some may experience a reduction in symptoms, while others continue to face significant challenges that disrupt their daily lives. For adults, the primary characteristics of ADHD often include difficulty paying attention, impulsiveness, and restlessness, with symptoms varying from mild to severe. And many adults may not even realize they have ADHD, but they simply recognize that everyday tasks can be particularly challenging, and this can lead to struggles with focusing and with prioritizing tasks, resulting, of course, in missed deadlines and forgotten meetings or social engagements. Impulsivity can manifest in various ways, from impatience while waiting in line or stuck in traffic to experiencing mood swings or sudden outbursts of anger. And common symptoms of adult ADHD encompass a range of challenges that can significantly impact daily life. For example, disorganization, making it difficult to keep track of tasks, belongings, and responsibilities. This can lead to poor time management, resulting in chronic lateness or missed deadlines. Many adults also experience, of course, as I mentioned before, trouble focusing on tasks, which means they might find it hard to concentrate during meetings or, for example, while reading. They often become easily distracted by their surroundings or irrelevant thoughts. So if you read a book and you, for example, read 2 or 3 pages and you cannot say what this book was about because you've been thinking about something completely different, or something distracted you easily, this is one of the symptoms of ADHD. Of course, it doesn't mean that you have ADHD, because, well, people can have trouble focusing for many other reasons, but this is one of the symptoms. If you read something or if you do something and you get easily distracted, or your thoughts start to go very different direction, this is one of the symptoms. Of course, people with ADHD have trouble with multitasking. It is very prevalent. Adults with ADHD may feel overwhelmed when trying to juggle multiple responsibilities, leading to procrastination or incomplete projects. So we have many projects which are started, but none of them is finished. And additionally, excessive restlessness can manifest in an inability to sit still or a constant need to be active, which can be mentally exhausting and contribute to feelings of anxiety. This is also troubling for other people, because imagine that you are, for example, on a meeting or somewhere, or in a place that you shouldn't be very active, in a place that you should sit still, and you have persistent pressure to talk or move or stand up. This is very distracting for other people, and this can cause social problems, right? So, another symptom is low frustration tolerance. This is very common, causing individuals to become easily irritated over minor setbacks or challenges, which can escalate into frequent mood swings and emotional outbursts. And these mood fluctuations can strain relationships and create an unstable emotional environment. And completing tasks can also be a significant hurdle. Many adults with ADHD face challenges in following through on commitments, leading to unfinished projects and, of course, feeling of inadequacy. Of course, quick temper and poor stress management are also very, very common symptoms. It is crucial to recognize that almost everyone experiences some ADHD-like symptoms at different points of their lives. So we all have troubles focusing sometimes. We all have troubles with multitasking sometimes. We all have troubles with impatience. We all have troubles with excessive restlessness and so on. However, if these difficulties are recent or sporadic, it is less likely that one has ADHD. The disorder is typically diagnosed when the symptoms are severe enough to cause ongoing problems across multiple areas of life, often traceable back to early childhood experiences. So diagnosing ADHD in adults can be particularly challenging because many symptoms overlap with those of other conditions such as anxiety or mood disorders. And furthermore, it is common for adults with ADHD to also face additional mental health issues like depression or anxiety or other mental disorders. And this might complicate the diagnostic process and treatment options. But understanding these symptoms and their impact is essential for recognizing ADHD and seeking appropriate help. Diagnosing adult ADHD can be a bit complex, as it requires a thorough understanding of the individual symptoms and, of course, their impact on daily life. And one of the key tools used in this diagnostic process is the DIVA, or the Diagnostic Interview for ADHD in Adults. And this is a structured interview which was developed specifically to evaluate ADHD in adults, and it is based on criteria outlined in the DSM. The DIVA is designed to assess whether symptoms were present during both childhood and adulthood, as ADHD is a lifelong condition that typically begins in childhood. The DIVA interview consists of a series of standardized questions that focus on the core symptoms of ADHD, including inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity, and so on. And during the assessment, clinicians ask about specific behaviors and experiences from both childhood and adulthood, providing concrete examples to facilitate accurate evaluation. This approach helps clinicians determine not only the presence of ADHD symptoms, but also their severity and the extent to which they affect various aspects of life, such as work, relationships, and self-esteem. The assessment process typically begins with an initial contact where individuals may be referred by a healthcare provider or self-refer for evaluation. And a qualified clinician conducts the DIVA interview, which usually takes between 1 to 1.5 hours to complete. And the clinician may also gather information from family members or close friends to gain additional insights into the individual's behavior over time. But of course, inviting family is not mandatory in this case. If the clinician feels that it's necessary, they might ask you for permission. They might ask for example, your partner to come with you, but of course, this is not mandatory. Approximately, in terms of treatment, approximately 30% of adults with ADHD do not respond adequately or adequately enough to standard medication treatments, creating a need for alternative management strategies. And this is where ADHD therapy becomes essential, serving as either a standalone option or a complementary approach alongside medication. Research indicates that combining medication with behavioral therapy can lead to significant improvements in symptoms for adults with ADHD. And these therapeutic interventions help individuals develop the structures, skills, and habits necessary for success in various aspects of life. When it comes to ADHD therapy, it focuses on several key areas, including communication, emotional regulation, time management, and concentration or focusing. While medications can be effective for many, there are also various non-pharmacological methods available for managing symptoms. And these include behavioral therapy, ADHD coaching, and support groups. And among the behavioral therapies used for ADHD, there are mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, typical cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, and, for example, neurofeedback. And when considering which type of therapy may be most beneficial for managing adult ADHD, it often comes down to personal preference and how an individual responds to different treatments. Although CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy, has substantial scientific backing for its effectiveness, other therapies might resonate with more certain individuals based on their unique symptoms and circumstances. So the effectiveness of treatment can also depend on the severity of symptoms and the therapist expertise. Individuals do not have to limit themselves to just one type of therapy. Many find that a combination of approaches yields better results. For instance, cognitive behavioral therapy is structured, goal-oriented psychotherapy that helps identify and modify unhealthy thought patterns or behaviors associated with ADHD. Research has shown that CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy, can assist adults in managing their symptoms while enhancing self-esteem. It addresses detrimental thought process, such as for example, all or nothing mindset, which can lead to procrastination or avoidance of tasks perceived as imperfect. And through cognitive behavioral therapy, individuals learn to challenge these unhelpful beliefs and replace them with more constructive ones. In addition to reshaping self-perception, CBT also targets practical skills in areas such as organization, planning, focus, problem solving, and, for example, overcoming procrastination. And therapists work with clients to develop actionable strategies such as utilizing calendars or task lists and exploring applications to help maintain focus and ensure time task completion. And applications, either on mobile or tablets, they are very helpful. And I'm not even talking about people with ADHD, but I'm talking about people who have troubles focusing or assessing how much time is necessary to complete a task. The apps can be really helpful. They can help you to organize your daily tasks if you have troubles managing it on your own. Well, overall, exploring various evidence-backed therapies can provide adults with ADHD the tools they need to manage their symptoms effectively. And by understanding the different therapeutic options which are available and how they can be tailored to individuals' needs, Our patients with ADHD can enhance their quality of life and achieve greater success in their daily activities. So we might say that therapy for ADHD is very effective if the therapy is tailored and if it focuses on special needs of an individual patient. Well, that's all I wanted to tell you today. Thank you for listening, and until next time, bye bye.